1000.
Don't try to adjust your radio station. Don't try to adjust your frequency, because you are about to listen to the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show.
I love the party on a weekend. 들어가기 싫어 너가 없는 우리 집엔. 나 지금 취했어. 난 여길 떠날 준비해. 널 보러 가 이 위에. I shut down the party. 오늘은 여기까지. I miss you so bad. Yeah, I need you so bad. I shut down the party. 오늘은 여기까지. I miss you so bad. Yeah, I need you so bad. Yeah, I love my homies. Yeah, they pull up for me. Yeah, they pull up for me. That money I can do whatever yellows and moby want me to do. 일단 내일은 다 밀어둘. Yeah, 친구들이 좋아 음악을 틀고 놀아. On me, on my, on me, on my. 근데 내 머릿속에는 온통 너로 가득 차 있어. Baby, hold on, hold on. But I'ma shut it down the party. 지금밖에 잠깐만 지나게 지금처럼만. I let a party on the weekend. 들어가기 싫어.
Yes, you're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show, here live on this Friday night. You're listening to Party by Sik-k.
I shut down the party. 오늘은 여기까지. I miss you so bad. Yeah, I need you so bad. Yeah, I need you so bad. I miss you so bad. 그저 여기 휩쓸려 왔을 뿐인 건데 오늘따라 담배 연기 술 냄새 너무 역해. 맘이 안 편해. 넌 어디서 뭐해. 심장이 뛰고 식은 땀이 흐르네. 괜히 눈치를 보며 밖에 나와 잡지 택시를. 아까 내가 미안해 라면서 대생일날 네가 있는
Yep, you're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show with your host, Brent, kicking it here live on this Friday night. We're rocking you from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. And if you're in Antarctica listening to us, how you feeling? What's going on?
나 지금 취했어. 나 여기 떠나 준비해. 널 보러 가.
All right. Thank you, each and every one of you listening out there, to the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show with your host, Brent, kicking it here on this Friday evening. Well, actually, it's not evening anymore. It's actually night. Like the dark night. Oh, yes. Like the dark night. Yes. So, be sure to follow us and like and subscribe us on our other social media platforms. You can also follow me on my Twitter account, which is at CoollyCool2412. You can also follow me on my YouTube channel and TikTok channel, which both is labeled the same thing, the Coolly Cool Show. My podcasts are automatically uploaded from Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, automatically up to my YouTube channel, which is called the Coolly Cool Show. So you can also follow me if you want to in my Instagram page, which is at Brent the Champ. All right, that's because I'm the champ, baby. Champ, baby. I knock him down, baby. So, but yes, if you haven't been told this already, you are special. Just letting you know, you are one of a kind. Yes, and actually, reality, you are, as an individual, one of a kind. Even if you're a twin, even if you have identical twins, each one of you are different than the next person. So, just putting it out there. So, here on this Friday night, topic of discussion is whether UFO sightings are real or are they fiction? Yes. Whether they fiction. Well, fiction. Man, boy, my talking has gone weird. But whether they're fiction or not. Yeah. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to get a good topic of discussion to figure out whether or not a lot of people might, let's say this way, bring up certain things because maybe they're influenced or they want something of like the same occurrence that happened to maybe somebody else to be part of their way of life or their way of thinking, or might subconsciously think about certain things or have thought about it that might be implanted in their brain to believe that something is what it may not be like. And I may have confused a little bit of people out there listening, but trust me, I'm trying not to. But it's more or less everything that we're being fed and we're being talked and told about like UFOs and sightings and things of that nature. It is a very kind of, I'm not going to say it's touchy topic to talk about because many people sometimes automatically dismiss people that say, oh yeah, I seen an alien. I seen a UFO a couple miles and it was in the old pasture over there and everything went pretty well. You know what I mean? And, they didn't do nothing, but, it was right over there. And Jed, and I asked him to go to the barn and go grab a couple things. And then when it came out, by the time he came out, they was already gone, right? Yeah, they were gone. That's what sometimes you can see. They're like aliens like to hang out around cornfields and do crop dusting, instead of, they crop circles, but then they do some crop dusting too to help out the farmers and, along with their stuff that they need to take care of. They're always seen at the middle of the night, late at night, never during the daytime when there's tons of people out walking around. It's always in the middle of motherfucking night, all the time. When somebody tells you about an alien encounter, I guarantee you, their alien encounter is going to sound a little bit something like this. Now, this is what I'm going to say. It's fake, and I might use a little kind of accent just to kind of, make a little sound more real, more, authentic, So, bear with me and try to listen. It's always like this. All right, sir. I'd just like to ask you a couple questions, and I want you to tell me about your first alien encounter. You start from the top. Oh, yeah. Well, you see, I was walking my dog. And we was walking down to the woods, and as we were walking through the woods, it was quite late, about 12:30 at night, and it's pitch black. And we was doing some hunting out there, I was looking around, and next to I saw this brick white thing beaming through the woods and everything. And as it was beaming through the woods, I looked up and I couldn't make out what it was, but it was shiny light coming through. And my dog kind of got startled. And as he got startled, he kind of ran back towards me. At that time, I kind of put my hands up, and it was bright white beaming light, and it just had all this kind of rays to it. And I couldn't move my body for a second, and it was like froze me at a point in time. And next thing I know, I could have seen these little 3-foot things. Couldn't make out what words, but they didn't do anything. They just kind of looked at me, they just kind of examined everything about me, and then they dropped me back off, and they dropped me off on my highway, and my dog, I don't know how he got, but apparently when I got back to my home and everything, everybody was looking for me, and they was wondering where I had been, and my dog had been home and everything, and then I decided to share my story. So that's what might happen. That might happen. That's an intriguing story, sir. Can I ask you a question? Why were you hunting at the middle of the motherfucking night in pitch black darkness in the woods? That's a good ass question. That's a good ass question. I try to figure out why I do hunt in the middle of the night, and just don't. It's good to find it. Sir, what were you hunting? I was hunting them animals out there, there's nothing wrong with the animals hunting out there. It's just what it is. Okay, but normal people don't want to hunt at midnight at the pitch black of darkness? Was there a moon? No, I really didn't see a moon out there, but I know snow was high. I could see at what I'm shooting at the middle of the motherfucking night, okay? Sir, do you have MVG goggles or anything like that to assist you with spotting animals in the pitch black? Man, why you ask me all these questions, man? I swear to God, man, you better watch it, boy. So, I mean, I kind of exaggerated a little bit on that little skit, but it's kind of what you kind of might hear sometimes from these interviews with people that had said they've seen aliens. And then there's always other ones that were sleeping at night, and the next alien came in their house, broke into their house, and took them up, and then there's experimentations, then dropped them off back into their house, still at the same time in the middle of the night, and conducted some type of experiments and planted some things into them. And, you know, I just have a really kind of a quick, a thought process in this, and it's, I'm not saying that there's not any type of alien or extraterrestrial life that's out there in the blackness of space. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying there's too much space out there for us, the ones here on Earth, to be the only ones to exist in the infinity of blackness out in outer space, because outer space is the final frontier until we find something else out there. I mean, there's so much space, as from what the astronomers and the scientists have said, that virtually it is impossible. Well, we always have to put 1% in it, but it is almost virtually impossible to suggest that everything in here on Earth is the only life forms existing throughout the observable universe. And if you know what the observable universe is, does anyone know what the observable universe is? That's the farthest, as per apparently what they can see from side to side of the universe. Okay, and this is all that they have. I don't even know if they use math on this, but this is what they said that they seen, I think possibly through the Hubble telescope, as far as the observable universe. This is the furthest they have ever seen from apparently side to side. This is what they make out the dimensions or the calculations for light year. And you got to understand, within the observable universe, like I said, they're able to see all this and everything. And imagine the observable universe. Let me backtrack a sec. If you go to the beach and you pick up a tiny pebble of grain of sand, which would be almost somewhat naked to the eye, just that little tiny little pebble, they are sometimes suggesting that is what we are in the observable universe. So compared to everything in the observable universe, every grain of sand across the entire world is the observable universe. And they've actually said that this is what they can see. So imagine that little tiny pebble of sand being us. And the observable universe is all the other sands on planet Earth. So, I mean, back to what I was saying, as far as out of all that, there has to be some other type of other life forms out there. Now, with that being said, is it a possibility that people are encountering, alien extraterrestrial life forms that are visiting Earth from far, far away, far galaxies away? Is it possible? It could be possible. But from what the accounts of these individuals are saying, can be, let's just say, a little bit exaggerated. A little bit to add a little zazz to it, to add a little entertainment to it, to add a little adventure, to add a little bit of mystery, to unsuspecting people. Because let's be honest, when we're talking about this, how easy is it to influence individuals without any prior knowledge or experience or no hearsay of certain things? Now, you can go from a group of individuals to a certain culture, and everyone around the world, in every part of the continents, have had their own fair share of UFO sightings to alien encounters. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that alien extraterrestrial life doesn't exist, but I'm saying they've all got their very own distinct patterns on as far as, oh, this is what happened, this is what they're doing. But in the same sense, how is it that these alien life forms are so good at being like hidden and not being able to be observed, or coming down and saying, hey, we're here, we've been trying to communicate with you, and we've just, took a couple people with us to the mothership, and, while we had them in the mothership, we stripped them butt naked, and we did experiments on them, but then we sent them back down, and we, say, hey, there you go. I'm just saying, if they're a non-threatening alien life form, and they're, making stops here on Earth, wouldn't it be more probable for the fact that maybe these alien life forms actually would probably want to more or less say, hey, I'm just saying, hey, how you doing? I'm here. I see you. We just want to communicate. We want to have kind of a what was it? A universal, coalition or some type of thing with other life forms in the observable universe, So, it has to be fathomed because, on one hand, people's accounts saying this and that, and then the other account is the observable universe, which holds billions and zillions and gazillions of fucking stars. So, there has to be a 50-50. 50 bullshit, 50-50 is, well, I'm sorry, 50% is bullshit, and the other 50% is, I'm not even going to say possibly real. I might say probably 30-20 to that. 30% might be real, and 20% might be, real to an extent. That's how I see it. That's how I look upon it. It's just, it's just a kind of a mystery. Let's just put it this way, and we're still sticking on the topic of UFOs and extraterrestrial and alien life forms, whether they're real or they're fiction. So, how about this? Bigfoot, or AKA Sasquatch, or AKA the Abominable Snowman. No one has had any visual sightings of this creature. People have had, video recordings, that have been put in the question. People have said they have had encounters with the Bigfoot, but it's kind of like, okay, if Bigfoot does exist and he's here on Earth, how's he eluding? He's probably the most elusive creature on planet Earth to elude capture from all types of researchers, all type of treasure hunters and finders of that nature. Come on. Bigfoot is probably he's a worldwide known fugitive. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's just a creature. He hasn't done anything wrong. But man, is he the worldwide leader in fugitive, evasiveness? Because it's like, oh, there's a Bigfoot. I have the camera. Watch it. Where'd he go? I'm not going that direction. It's like, wait a minute, what the, they say talk about Bigfoot, but Bigfoot is elusive. And at the point, has Bigfoot existed? Who knows? I don't know. No one knows. The Earth is extremely huge, by the way. So, I mean, but at this day and age, we like to kind of pat ourselves in the back to be able to say, you know what? Yeah, we've pretty much discovered lots of things about Earth, but yet there are so many things that we cannot fathom that say we can explain what actually really happens. Like, for instance, we love to talk about the ocean. We love to talk about, oh yeah, the ocean's this, ocean's that. There's the bottom of the ocean is this depth. Yeah, we love to talk about that. We love to talk about the unknowns of the ocean. I mean, let's put it this way. The Titanic sits at the bottom of the ocean. Apparently, it's about 6 or 7 miles down at the bedrock in the Atlantic Ocean, Northern Atlantic. So we claim to know the actual depths of the ocean, though, because we've said, okay, it has to stop there, and there it is. Now, we're just basing that on information that we've been given from time and time ago, and we've had instruments that say, oh, this is down that way. Yet, let alone, do you know how in the beginning, when they discovered the depths of the ocean, and let's put it this way, back in the day, and I'm talking about back in the day, way back in the day, with wooden ships and sails and probably wooden anchors, they used a rope system where they would tie off so many hundreds of feet and would mark off that, and they would just attach several weights down, and they would throw it overboard, and then they would, sail out, and they'd drag, and apparently from that weight would hit a certain point, and then it would drag down, and it keep going. So if it had stopped, then they would measure the weight. The weight and the measurement would show as far as the depth of where they were at, or how deep something was. Now, they kind of mapped this out, and then apparently they went some part towards the Mariana Trench, which is supposedly the deepest part, which is actually a canyon or cave below the known ocean bed floor. And it's so deep that they can't go down there because, one, we don't have the instruments or the tools to actually get down there. They just have assumed, based on the machinery and stuff that we have now, to suggest, oh yeah, it's deep, but it's probably another couple something. But we're not entirely certain on how deep that is. And they love to say nothing can exist in there. No, there's tons of things that can exist down in the unknown, the abyss of is the ocean floor. I mean, at a point in time, I believe they were said that a giant killer squids that didn't live down there until apparently it was like probably 10, 15 years ago, where a massive killer whale washed up across the shore. I don't know which shore, and it was dead, and it had suction cups and on its body, and they were the size of freaking cars, lengthwise. And apparently, the only thing that could kill these killer whales is a freaking squid of amounts proportional size. So when you think and you see something, at first they'll dismiss it and say, oh, no, it's not giant octopus. You come on, man. Giant squid? No way, man. But then when evidence suggests, oh, snap, might be there, might not. But if they see it, then they probably be like, well, that shit can stay down there. So, I mean, was Moby Dick, telling the truth? That's where you go back to the 50-50. 50% is bullshit, and maybe the other 50% it may be real. Or it's real, but to an extent that the 50% is actual realness. So it goes back to the alien part of extraterrestrial life and UFOs. That maybe people are seeing certain things out in the skies, or they're like, oh, that's a UFO. I don't know what that is. It's unidentified flying object. Well, anything can be an unidentified flying object until you actually know what the hell it is. And once you do know what it is, then it's no longer a UFO, or nowadays a UAV. You now can put a title to what that thing is. But when some people suggest, I don't know what it is, and whatever it might be anything that here from the earth, you would be like, it's a UFO. And now people will make up whatever reasoning to get attention, to get fame, to get money, to just be delusional or have a following. Because a lot of people in the world are wanting to be liked and loved by the millions, by the thousands, the hundreds of millions and thousands. And they will do virtually anything to get it done. And it's usually always filled by some motive of money. And that's why some people will go to an extent to make up stuff. And then, like I said, subconsciously, some people that will listen to stuff will subconsciously be like, oh, and then they may not know it at the time, but their brain has already been programmed to the point where they actually are going to be subject to seeing something and then assuming that it might be something from somewhere else, or imagine certain things visiting them, or their dreams will fulfill their fantasies and they'll mark it as real, not knowing that they cannot distinguish the difference between reality and fantasy. I mean, how many of us have actually had a dream where you thought it was so real, you could not tell the difference in it, and in your dream, there was something that kind of threw you off to know, wait a minute, I'm dreaming. And when you tried it, you tried to wake yourself up. You did something to try to wake yourself up, and it almost seemed virtually impossible to try to wake yourself up, because you're like, I know I'm dreaming, but what I'm trying to do is trying to wake myself up, but yet now I'm caught in between reality. I'm sorry. Now you're caught up in the difference between, am I dreaming or is it this reality? And this is where it's a dream, but yet you're like, is it a dream or is it reality? And your mind begins to play tricks on you, because subconsciously you've been force fed on the ideas of other people, and you've been listening and homing into it, that now your brain is making up certain things to want to be real, though it's not. But your brain is fulfilling that fantasy. Now, I always like to tell it like this. For instance, when you have a dream, and you're sleeping and your dream is fulfilled, it's always this. You never know the beginning of a dream. You just always somewhat like jumped into whatever the hell is happening. Now, each and every person's dream is able to fulfill certain details within that dream. And as they're fulfilling certain details in the dream, you're populating it with certain, thought process. And how many of us have actually had a dream where you can picture and see other people in your dream? Your subconscious is actually filling your dream up with people that you've never met before, never encountered before. You may have a dream where you're talking with somebody or doing something with somebody, and you have never met this person, but you've gotten them down in your mind by the image of whatever you're thinking about of a person or something like that. You have it down to the very last detail on them, meaning eye color, hairstyle, clothing, size, shape, weight, whether or not they have freckles, whether they have, trimmed, clean cut, things that you have it down to the very detail of them. Your mind subconsciously does this. Now, that tends to weigh a lot onto the fact that it's made something, though you're dreaming, your thought process has determined this to be reality. But you, based on way things are going in your life, you can kind of distinguish what is not real and what is a dream. So if you're in your dream and you're like, I don't know, like, I just put like a pro athlete, and you're not, you're like a businessman, then you're kind of like, wait a minute, hold on, it's just I'm playing professional sports, I'm a business owner, I'm a businessman, you're kind of like to be dismissed. Now those are the hints and clues that will get you to like, wait a minute, I'm dreaming. But what if hand in hand they come together? I mean, it's this, possibilities are endless. I mean, I can sit here and talk like this because we can get crazy, but could that, for the fact that your brain is being force fed certain things to suggest that, and we've seen this happen all across the world where people say, oh, this is I encounter UFOs and aliens and stuff. Is it possibility that everybody is subconsciously, filling all those voids in with their own creation, their own thought process of hearing something from somebody else? Because when you're a kid and you're growing up, you don't know anything as far as aliens and anything say, but you're told this from other people and you've heard this from other people. So as you get older, your brain starts to develop in a certain way into certain thoughts. So we reached the halfway point. I know I'm talking a lot about some crazy stuff, and some people are probably like, what in the hell is you talking about? So, yeah, we're going to go take a quick commercial break. Well, I don't know if it's a commercial break. We're going to go take a quick break. I'm going to go get something to drink. We'll be right back with some more of the coolest of the cool. And we're going to talk some more about this topic about the UFO sightings. Is it real or it's fiction? So stick with us. We'll be back with some more of the coolest of the cool, the coolly cool show. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. All right. Yep. You're listening here live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show with your host, Brent. We're back from a little break, getting me something to drink. As I always say. Listening to a remix of Booty Got Me Like. Booty Got Me Like. Booty Got Me Like. Booty Got Me Like. Oh, yeah. Yep. Make sure you follow us on our other social media platforms. You can also follow me on my Instagram page at Brent the Champ, or you can also follow me on Twitter at CooleyCool2412. You can also follow me on my YouTube and TikTok channel. It's all named The Cooley Cool Show. So, yeah. So if you're just joining us, we were talking about a little bit about UFO sightings and whether they're reality or they're fiction. I mean, but there's a lot of things suggested. A lot of things are going on that we just don't know what's happening out there in the world. Don't know. But I mean, I personally think that people may be telling the truth in some aspect, but yet then skewering the facts quite a bit to fit their narrative, which tends to happen with humans because it's always usually brought back to human error on a majority of things. It's just the way I see it. I mean, but then again, I mean, let's say, put it this way. When people first heard about the discovery of a military institution, a facility that was secretive in nature, aka Area 51 out in Nevada, people were like, whoa, what are they doing? They're doing some alien testing. Oh my God. You know, people were up in a roar. People wanted to know. And the thing is, you know, people's like, what are they testing? What are they doing? And then with the government being the way they are, with the level of secrecy, not to give out information, and to only have a who's who and need to know basis, didn't help either, which actually kind of fueled the actual, you know, thought process on UFOs and aliens and all that stuff. So people started getting the thinking, people started getting the talking, and people started getting the realization of, oh my God, and the imagination of the human brain can delve deep into anyone's, you know, thought process on a thing. All right. I mean, look at the level of creation that is out there in, you know, cinema, you know, with movies, with comic books, with, book writing. It is amounts of creativity at a huge level. You listening could have written something or thought of something, and your creative level is amazing. And with that creative level, you could come up with certain things that people will be like, whoa. So to me, it's kind of hard not to know that whether for us humans here on Earth, it's a lot of stuff can be filled sometimes by our imaginations to be able to create something that we want to be real, but in reality, because of our subconscious, you know, we're kind of caught between the difference between reality and fiction, but yet sometimes, if it is to be true, we've skewered the line. So, give you a primary example. You know, I love to give them examples. So, let's put it this way. Let's give you an example. Let's just say you discovered, man, I'm trying to think of a really good one. All right, let's do this. You actually are going hiking in the woods in Montana. And as you're hiking through the woods in Montana, you come across a shadowy figure in the woods. That shadowy figure roars deep down. You can't see it, but it's roaring towards you. You can hear the roar. You hear the foot stomps. Your heart pounds. It beats. Boom, 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 boom. You never felt this fear ever before in your life. But you continue to run. You take off. You run as fast as you can, heart beating faster and faster, as every time you take a step, as you're running, you could feel whatever is chasing behind you is gaining on you, And as it's gaining on you, you feel it's closing in on you. And to the point in time, you trip, you stumble, you fall. You know it might be over at that point, but then you look around. There's nothing there. The sound of the roar is gone. It no longer is there. But you were certain that it was chasing you. Nothing seems to be startled. Nothing around you. Now, you, as a person, would suggest that there was something chasing you, something that was after you. But in the midst of it was following you. You really believe that there was something there. But in all respect, your mind, your subconscious took over and wanted to make something be real. And this could be a cause, as I said before, from everything that you were told on certain things, certain accounts, on how certain things may be playing. It's almost as your mind sometimes plays tricks on you. And this is where people can get caught up in the fact that they cannot distinguish the fact between reality and fiction, which can be very hard, whether you're dreaming or you're not dreaming. Like I said, we have tons of dreams that you can believe that sometimes your dreams are so real. And they go back to the fact that you can actually go in exact detail to the very detail of a person that you have never met in your life, ever, to the exact detail that their image, thought, way they look, talk, speak, and everything. But it's a dream. But your subconscious has actually implemented everything that you take into account throughout your course of your life to suggest, boom, if I implant this into your brain, you're not going to know the difference. Can our minds be playing tricks on us on certain things? Yeah. But I'm not going to be total dismissive to say that everything out there is actually false and fake. No, I'm not saying that. Because as we know it from the scientists that say, the observable universe, we're not alone. But yet, there seems to be a little deception in a lot of things. I'm just saying. But maybe one day we'll know. Oh! And that song is Under Your Spell by Desire. And that means we've come to the end of another wonderful episode here. Another wonderful podcast here, live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show. So, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram page at Brent the Champ. You can also follow me on my Twitter at CoollyCool2412. You can also follow me on my YouTube and TikTok channel, both labeled Coolly Cool Show. So, I thought it was pretty good to talk about this. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this. By the way, if you do know the location of Bigfoot and where he's at, let me know. I believe there's a handsome reward for capturing Bigfoot alive. Yeah. So, just letting you know. UFO sightings. If you have a UFO sightings, let me know as well. I'd like to definitely hear about it. But you're here to hear live on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show with your host, Brent. Be sure to tune in and stay with us on other amazing topics here live on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. As always, take care and bye.
Hey, yeah? I was wondering, do you know the difference between love and obsession? No? And what's the difference between obsession and desire? I don't know. Do you think this feeling can last forever? You mean like forever, ever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever? Sure. God, I hope so.